Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Speed Kills. Now hear me out before you judge me on this one. Obviously you clicked on it, so you want to know a little bit more about it. But it has Johnny Travolta in it. IMDb has it at a 4. So very low expectations, but only 939 people have reviewed it. So it's about a speedboat racing captain, I guess, or champion, who gets involved with drug lords or something like that. So I don't know too much about it, but John Travolta's in it. Okay, Kellen Lutz, remember him from Twilight, the big dude? He's in it. James Remar, he's in a lot of different things. Matthew Modine, Vision Quest, huh? You know, Jennifer Esposito, I think you say it. I know her. I've seen her in some different things. I don't know her personally, but I've seen her. So there's a couple people in this that, you know, have made some major movies. Or been in some major movies, not made them. So, I don't know. How bad could it be? We're here to find out. I'll start watching it, give you a better idea of what it's truly about, and then tell you what I think about it. So, stick around. Might be worth it. Might have found a gem. Probably not, but we'll find out. Be back in a bit. Hey everybody, let's do a quick check-in here on Speed Kills. We're at the 41-minute and 36-second mark. Johnny Travolta's masterpiece here. So, I have to say, it starts off very shaky. I mean, just, I guess it's the cinematography. The way it's shot in this one place of business looks like they're in somebody's garage and they have set it all up. So, it looks really bad. The whole first scene is like, oh, I can't believe I'm even going to watch this movie. Now, doesn't get much better, but before I get into that, let's tell you a little bit more about the plot. So John Travolta plays a family man, married, 3 kids, who lives in New York, New Jersey, that kind of area, was a gym teacher, then started his own construction business. Seems like he made a lot of money doing that, and then that fell through for one reason or another, and he decides to uproot his family and move them to Miami, and he's going to start over. And somehow he has money, I guess. They don't explain that, probably from his construction company, or whatever. He also has some ties to the mob, Meyer Lansky, which is a very big mobster back in the day. So it starts off in the 80s, but it jumps back to the 60s. And so he's in Miami anyway, and he sees these boats out in the water, and they're driving very fast, and he's like, I like that, let's do that. But the first thing he does, he calls a lawyer, hires a lawyer. When he's hiring the lawyer, that's when he sees these boats. So he had the foresight that he was going to do something, and he needed a lawyer to start doing these types of things, and decides speedboats is what he wants to do. So he goes out and buys himself a speedboat, starts racing, and becomes a champion, a racing champion. And I tell you what, the racing scenes are laughable. You know, you've seen him race, whatever, but then like it's like the way he wins his first race, they're like, oh, he made this very daring move. And you watch it just in the scene, he's going the wrong way, you know what I mean? Like there's no legitimacy to the actual scene, and then he's trying to talk to the other guy and they're mouthing words. It's laughable. That scene, oh, it's not meant to be funny, but how poorly shot it is, it's funny. Anyway, I thought that was the best. But so anyway, he is in Miami racing, but he's spending more than he's winning, of course. And at this point in the movie, or just before, he's got to now go back. The mob, Meyer Lansky, comes and meets with him, and he, you know, they want to work out some kind of deal. He says he just wants to do stuff on his own, stay away from him. But of course, when the business starts failing or he's spending more than he's actually making, he's got to reach back out to them. So I think this is where he's going to get himself involved with the mob and doing some shady things that lends itself to Speed Kills. So that's pretty much the plot of the movie. But there are even more actors. Amory Nolasco, I think you say his name. I don't know. But he was in Prison Break, if you remember him, Pappy. Jordi Malola from, what was it, Blow. He's in this. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of people in this movie that I wouldn't expect, because the way it's kind of like a B film with, I don't know, poor shooting, you know. But anyway, well, I'm going to get back to it a little bit more. There's plenty left. There's over an hour left now, so I think he's going to start getting involved with the mob, and we'll see where it goes. But it has improved a little bit, but some of those scenes are kind of laughable so far. I'll get back to it. If anything else interesting or laughable happens, I'll check back in. If not, I'll see you at the credits and give you my final thoughts. Alright? I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Speed Kills, and whew, what can I say about this movie? Well, like I said in the beginning, it was shot really poorly, and they come back to that scene again, so you get another taste of it, of what I was talking about. And I wasn't sure at first, because I even looked on IMDb, but the guy who enters in to talk to John Travolta is Tom Sizemore. He shows right up in the beginning, and he shows up at the end, because it's just a reissuing of what happened in the beginning. But he's in it. He has some cheesy lines. I mean, the dialogue in this movie is pretty bad. There's some cheesy lines throughout. Really bad acting. I mean, Kellen, he didn't do such a good job. Travolta's Travolta, you know, and so it starts off, I think I mentioned, in the 80s, flashes back to the 60s, but it's still Johnny Travolta, 25 years younger, but they gave him a little bit more hair to make that happen. And then some of the scenes, as I mentioned, the boat race, where you know, that was bad enough. The other ones are just montages of him holding up trophies and winning and stuff like that. And I found out after researching, because you can tell by the way the movie is, it's based on some sort of true life events. So his name was Don Orloff, or Arlo, I believe, Don Arlo, and this guy's name in the movie was Ben Arloff. So I started to research it, and it is based off of this speedboat guy who was involved with the mob. I don't know how much of this movie's true. I don't think a lot. But you can tell because it kind of pieces together his timeline. So I mentioned he was married, has kids, and one kid gets hurt in a car accident. And there's a whole scene about that. And then the kid's going to go to college or whatever. Kid's living on his own. There's involvement there. And then it cuts off. Never see them again. Never see his wife, never see his kids. I get it that he says that they're done. He gets a divorce, but even after the divorce, he's involved at least with one of his 3 kids, slightly. But then it's just nowhere to be seen for the next 20 years or whatever it is. And he gets remarried again, so I'm sure that's factual stuff, that this guy, this Don Arlo, had a wife with 3 kids and leaves them and then has a wife with another kid. So they put that in here, but they didn't tie it together too well. You know, there's a lot of not great stuff in this. I'm trying to see what else I can tell you about. But Matthew Modine, he's in this. He plays George Bush. So the whole story is like he starts building these boats. He meets George Bush, and now he's going to build these boats for the Coast Guard, but his ties to the mob make that a little difficult because they're trying to always get him to do stuff for them because he borrowed money from them once. But there are parts of this movie that I thought, wow, this is actually getting better. You know, I laughed at it for a while. Then there's some scenes in there where it's like, okay, this is really kind of interesting because I'm starting to believe that this is based on a true story, and I can kind of see where they're going. And it picked up a little bit, and I was like, okay. And then it comes back down. So I think this story could have been told better, is I guess my point. I mean, it's there. There's pieces there. It could have been better acting. Could have been shot better. There could have been a lot better. But I think there's something there. In the right hands, this could have been pretty good, I think. I don't know how much they know about this Don Arlo, you know, like Don Arlo. I think I'm saying his name right, but I don't know if everybody knows what happened with him or if they're just speculating, and that might make it difficult and nobody else wanted to touch it. You know, maybe they don't want to make a movie that's going to make Maya Lansky look bad for repercussions there. But you know, all the actors are in there. There's some good names in there, but the result is not good. I get the 4. I think it's interesting to watch. If you're like me, I'm glad I kind of watched it. It's not a high-rated movie, but it was an interesting watch. So, yeah, I don't know if I gave you any additional information, but that's it. That's all I got for you. If I think of anything more, I'll check back in. But for now, thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.
Thank you.